Om. Sahana bhavatu, sahanam bhunaktu, saha viryam karavavahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. Doing section 3, the essence of Vedanta. That first topic, first chapter that we deal with is use and abuse of religion. That we have the first topic, individual diagnosis and treatment. So we see this as a basic one, individual diagnosis. Now the question comes is, this diagnosis is supposed to be done by whom? Are you going to be doing self-diagnosis and self-medication on one side? Or are you going to do the diagnosis with the aid and then take up a prescribed course of medication? That is what he is explaining here. What people do now is they take the self-diagnosis and self-medication. Both are done by themselves. And definitely we do have a very good justification for what we are doing. Because if you have to go in and ask someone around you to do the diagnosis of what is your nature, what is your spiritual requirement, how you have to take up that spiritual courses. If you were to ask people around you, and all those who are around you, meaning with whom you are living. Remember, when I say all around, I don't mean those who are staying in your neighbor, because there is no interaction at all. When we say people around you, we mean people with whom you interact. Interact not in the sense when you go for walking in the park, you say good morning, good morning, good morning. That is not the interaction we are talking about. Okay. Where you deal with them in varied situations, not in one singular scenario. When you go and meet your doctor, when you go to your dentist, singular scenario there. What is it? He is not going to look into any other aspect of your body. He is going to look only to your welfare of your condition of your teeth. That's it. Apart from that, he is not going to pay attention to anything. Ophthalmologist, you go, he sees only your eyes. ENT specialist, you go, they look into only your ENT, etc. Similarly, you deal with people also. There are people with whom you deal in singular transaction. That will go in that same thing. But whereas when you are living with people, that is why the students were called Antevasin. Those who live inside, indwellers. Antevasin means you should live inside the Gurukula. When you live with the Guru, is called a Antevasin. Such persons can go and take guidance from their Guru. That they have that advantage. Right. Now today, if you are going to be asking people around you, They are not going to be giving an unbiased assessment about your personality. That is the danger here. That is a fundamental difference between religion and science. In both the fields, you go about it in a systematic manner. You inquire, you investigate. Investigations and inquiries all happens in an orderly fashion. Right? You take a problem, then you dissect the problem, and then you employ your rationale, and then introduce intuition also. So there are various ways of process of inquiries. But there is a fundamental difference between science and religion. In science, your inquiry is with reference to the world outside you. In religion, the inquiry is about yourself. This is self-inquiry. So here, very difficult for the other person to make an objective assessment about what is your true nature. What is your real condition? That's very difficult to find out. So that is why he says first obligation of a sincere spiritual seeker is to go through this process of individual diagnosis and treatment. So based on the diagnosis, you have to take that particular course of treatment. What is a diagnosis? Individual diagnosis means what is your spiritual status right now? Where do you stand? Number one. Okay, I'll put it the other way around. This is number two. Number one, what is your nature? What is your personality type? What is your individualistic nature? Diagnosis number one. Diagnosis number two is what is your current state of evolution? How developed you are spiritually? How much growth you have attained spiritually? These two things you have to diagnose first, identify first, and then take a course, spiritual course accordingly. And the spiritual course is standard. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. That is fixed. How you are going to be proportioning that and taking it up is what he is giving. So the individual diagnosis has to be done by default, only we have to do. So what is the only option we have? The option is to take the input from the textbooks, from the Shastras, because we are not living with the Guru. Therefore, option is what? To take it. So if you have that advantage, you can take it. If it is not there, you have to go by the textbook only. The textbook gives an idea. What is the textbook idea? He has already explained it. And he has reinstated this also here, stating what is your Swadharma. What is your Swadharma? Swadharma is made up of what is your, how much active you are, how much emotional you are, how much intellectual you are. Number one. Number two, are you an extroverted or introverted personality? Meaning expressive or non-expressive. That's little easier to understand. Not only you prefer others also to be non-expressive. That's what the meaning of it is. You see, now we have this idea. I will not demonstrate my love, but you should constantly demonstrate your love to me. That is the meaning of extroverted person. You see, if I am not a demonstrative type of love, then I do not expect others also to demonstrate their love and affection towards me. Now we have a different equation. When it comes to from my side, if I have to be giving my emotion one standard, When I am in the receiving end, other standard. Like people say, see, I don't like people lying to me, As though it's such a great quality. I say, okay, show me one human being on earth who says, I love people lying to me. I cherish that, when they lie to me, I really enjoy. Please lie to me. More and more lies, people should give. Who says that? But as though it is such a great value, we speak. What does it mean? It means you should not lie to me, but I will lie to you. You should be accountable. But am I accountable? Am I answerable? That and all don't ask. You should be answerable to me. This is what the problem all over the world is. Wherever we go, who is answerable to whom? And nobody wants to be accountable. Everybody wants others to be accountable to them. You answer to me. Don't expect me to answer to you. Who are you to question me? This is the fight all the time. Yes. That is what extroverted means. In a very technical way, we say it is, if you have too many desires, you are extroverted. If you have few desires with, a mild intensity, we call them as introverted personalities. How do we understand that? Is only by seeing the craving for expression is there or not. Extroverted, introverted. And then another factor also we have taken into consideration. That is, are you aggressive personality, assertive or passive? That also you can add if you need be. That's not necessary, actually speaking. It is unnecessary confusion, right? If you ask me, I will say delete it, because I did receive people asking few questions on that. They said that's little confusing. Can you elaborate? I said, if you ask me to elaborate, I'll confuse more. So better to delete it. You will not lose anything. So how do you identify individual diagnosis? Means you need to take active, emotional, intellectual. How do you make that assessment? Don't take, singular, similar scenarios, experiences, situations. Take varied, different scenarios of life experiences and see where you relate to, which aspect appeals to you straight away. With that, you would be able to get a fair idea. Now here, don't go for accurate, there's no need to be having that accuracy of your diagnosis. That's not necessary. Approximation is more than sufficient. Accuracy is not essential here. Just a basic understanding of, are you emotional, intellectual, this. This is first individual diagnosis. The second individual diagnosis he is referring to is your current spiritual status. Depending upon your current level of evolution, you have to design the spiritual course. This is the another aspect he gives. If you take Swadharma in the, in a broad sense, everything will get included in that. Okay. Now this is just, I'm just doing it for the purpose of understanding what he is writing, what is given here. So it is little easy to follow. That's the, so you can easily follow what he is saying. Otherwise you will just, there's a good chance of missing the essential point. And then various mistakes, all explained there. Now coming to the second point, he gives page number 2. I'm sorry, what is the page number you have? Who's reading? Yeah, you can read.
New book, page 262, second paragraph. Meditation is the final part of the spiritual course, not meant to be practiced by initiates. You do not start religious practices with meditation. You end with it. A spiritual seeker has to prepare the mind before he enters the final stage of meditation. The preparation is through consistent practice of the prescribed disciplines. An ill prepared mind plunging directly into meditation could harm itself, suppress, frustrate the individual. Religious practices the world over have been indiscreet with no scientific bearing, not planned, programmed to suit individual requirement, with hardly any correlation between a person's constitution and his religious observance. An emotional person would take to the path of knowledge, though he is least designed for introverted study and reflection. So too, an intellectual person would plunge into the path of devotion, indulging in prayer and worship, least suited for his spiritual progress. Thus, most people, if not all, err in taking to religious practices by sheer accident of birth or circumstance. Above all, a great blunder committed throughout the world is that people try to meditate with a load of desires heavily hanging on them. Minds infested with desires are most disturbed, and using an agitated mind to meditate is like a plane trying to take off with a load of weight more than it can carry. It can never take off and is bound to crash. So will a disturbed mind if it pursues in meditation without offloading the bulk of desires. Vedanta cautions people against beginning at the wrong end. Desires are your weakness. You must get rid of the weakness through proper disciplines. Keep your bosom free of desires. Then alone would you be able to meditate and realize yourself. A careful study and analysis of today's religious beliefs and systems would reveal how they have become a mockery. As a result, people have lost the vital instruction, guidance in their lives, and the world has led itself to anarchy. The concept of religion has to be revolutionized. The world has to look at it from a totally different perspective. Religion is not just a balm to soothe your nerves, nor an intellectual companion to relieve your boredom, nor a physical pastime to recreate yourself. Religion serves a different purpose. It provides you with the knowledge of the spiritual disciplines and their respective values. You must gain that knowledge, correlate your individual needs with the disciplines. That would ensure your evolution. A community with such self-developed individuals is the need of the hour. But the world today is steeped in ignorance. People are fanatically attached to age-old ritualistic practices without any reference to their meaning and worth. That has caused disruption in the society. The human race has turned inhuman, and people have become bitter, hostile, militant in the name of religion. Therefore, the gravest problem facing humanity is stark ignorance of the reality, ignorance of your supreme self. Ignorance is the source of endless desires. People replete with desires go into the world seeking their fulfillment. Little do they realize that their desires can never be satiated through external pursuit. Ignorance can be overcome only through knowledge. The knowledge of yourself. Yourself is supreme. Realize yourself. You attain enlightenment. Through individual enlightenment, the world shall be redeemed.
Now, this is a next idea he gives on what is the blunder people commit throughout the world. Is you take to spiritual practices irrespective of your status. Now, this is the second mistake, he says. One, you don't register your personality nature. What is your individual nature? Right? A person can be highly evolved. He is an evolved soul, but he is an active person. Another one may be, not so evolved, but he's an intellectual person. So that is the difference. So one mistake we make is this. Another mistake we make is we never pay attention to what is my current level of development and is the course corresponding to my spiritual growth, the course that I am taking. And the course that we are taking, he gives a classic example, is meditation. Without any reference to your spiritual status, we take to it. Now we have seen that very many, angles in the previous, portion. He dealt exclusively that chapter meditation. And now he's just, recapping the things. So he's just, moving faster, explaining what is the mistake. Mind which is infested with desires, plunging into meditation, will not produce any growth. Why are you taking to meditation? Because that is a fashion today. That's all. That's the order of the day. Today, everywhere you go, everybody says meditate. Now, perhaps he's the only spiritual master today, or to my knowledge, the only person who had said do not. Everywhere we go, and it's so interesting to see people. They say, if you're not going to be teaching meditation, then what do you teach? Then what do you do? They say, no, we teach Bhagavad Gita. That is chanting you do, no. You study Bhagavad Gita for 3 years. When I joined the course, I told one of my uncle, he came to a house and I had to drop him in the bus stand. So when I was going to drop him in the bus stop, we are waiting for the bus to come. So at that time he asked me, what are you going to study? I said, I'm going to study Bhagavad Gita, because I can't tell him Vedanta and this, that, another. Then he will ask me, what is Vedanta? I wouldn't know. If I know, then why will I go and study? So Bhagavad Gita I'm going to study, which he can understand. So I said, Bhagavad Gita I'm going to study. Bhagavad Gita is going to be 3 years. He says, why do you have to spend 3 years for that? What is there to study for 3 years? This unnecessary. And how you should grow? All that you have to do is what? Go to the temple, do one puja, come back. That's all. One group. The another group, that's what he says. What is religion today? Yes. Religion is just an intellectual companion. Why? You are bored otherwise. Or else it is emotional solace, to soothe your nerves. You are so agitated, so disturbed. God is there. He will take care. That's it. All that you have to do is what? Simply say, Hare Ram, Sri Rama Jaya. That's all. All that you have to do is what? Keep chanting Narayana, 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 Narayana. You say all your problem will get solved. At least you will get that soothing effect. You feel good. Says, that's not it is. Or else physical, he says. Physical recreation. What is physical recreation? Physical recreation is you have the disease. Go to the temple and tie one coconut and come back. Or you don't have a child, then go to this temple and tie one cradle. Take, tie and come back. That's it. And what is so interesting is you go there and see so many cradles hanging. Nobody goes back and asks the person, what has happened. We don't. Everybody is doing it, so let's also go and do it. And in Karnataka, we have one temple here. One dosha is there. That's why you're not getting married. Doesn't matter whether you have dosha or not. Before marriage, everyone goes to the temple and does the puja, comes back. One of the most, very rich temple that is. In a way, good. Temples get, good income. But you believe that is being religious. That's the tragedy, he says. It's not that the practice is wrong. Remember, he's not. That's what many people take when you're reading him. Again, there's a good chance of being misreading what he is saying here. He is not against study. He is not against bhakti. He is not against, doing certain rituals and all that. He's not against all those things. You never consider in what way that is connected to your evolution. That connection we don't make. Therefore he says, the world is anarchy, is in real chaos now. And that chaos can be happening in other names, but it cannot be happening in the name of religion. Blunder we make. What's a blunder? It says meditation. Plunging into meditation. One. The other one he gives is, you have to prepare yourself. You don't prepare yourself properly. See, you don't prepare your mind. That's a very, very sad state. That's why today you go for meditation classes, you are not asked for any preparation. If at all the preparation they give means, have a proper, seat, sit in a posture. If you cannot sit in this Padmasana, Siddhasana and all this asana, doesn't matter. Sit any comfortable posture. Lying down also okay. Very convenient. And there are some meditative pillows along. Some pillows are there now. The fellow selling, you can see. Meditative pillow is there. I have to have that pillow there. You can't sit there, now use this, use this. Now we think this is called preparation. You spend so much of time inquiring about the place preparation, body preparation and all that. What about the one who is actually going to do meditation? Who is in you actually doing meditation? It is your mind and intellect that is going to be doing meditation. Not the body, not the chair, not the place you are, time you are. It's not those things. Who is actually doing is your mind and intellect. Is there any reference being given for preparing that mind and intellect? Nowhere is that. It's so interesting to see. And those who teach meditation do not teach yogasanas. Those who are teaching yogasanas do not teach meditation. And in between there is a group who teach only pranayama. They teach only pranayama. They teach only pranayama. And he calls yoga. And what is interesting is the person who is teaching asanas says that is meditation. And the person who is teaching pranayama says that is meditation. And everything is meditation. Means finally it is meditation. Means why you have to wait? Start now. That's where the blunder, he says, is an ill-prepared mind plunges. Why? What is an ill-prepared mind? Okay. What is a prepared mind? And we put the question the other way around. A prepared mind is a mind that is developed, matured. What is a matured mind? What is a developed mind? The mind which has the capacity to manage itself. A self-managed mind, which is very, very basic. That's why first thing we give, this is the progression, spiritual process, growth. How does it happen, sir? It starts with self-management. The self-management telescopes into self-development. That self-development matures into self-realization. Meaning, a self-managed will start aspiring to become self-developed. Then he will start working on self-development, no more self-management. right? Once a person is self-developed, the very self-development will inspire him to seek self-realization. Then he will start working on self-realization. This is the progression. Now, in this, where is your spiritual positioning? Are you in a position where you are self-managed personality? Or someone need to come and manage you? You expect another person to direct you, motivate you. Self-managed means a person who is capable of doing what he ought to do, the way in which it has to be done, without being told. See, that is called managed. The one who is self-managed means he knows what is to be done and gets into activity without being told. This is what you are supposed to do. And then, okay, if you tell me, I will do, sir. You know, it's so simple. In office, you can see this. At home, you can see it. Everywhere, you can see this. We see, have coffee and leave it on the table and go. Without realizing that tomorrow or evening you wanted to have coffee, you need this same cup. That cup should be washed and kept so that next coffee can be poured and brought and given to you. Now, what is surprising is you never register how is it that the coffee glass which I have left on the table, how it disappeared from there, washed, how next coffee was filled in it and brought back and kept to me. If I am not going to do it, somebody else is going to do it. No. Right? I want to drink coffee, but if I am not going to drink coffee, then someone else has to drink coffee, right? I never realized the value of having the tea, coffee to be served on table. I never realized it. What a joy it is. I was living in Bangalore for about 4 years alone. And I can't be making coffee, tea. I'm not used to it. So, morning studies we finish and then, go for a walk. I go for a walk. While going for a walk, I stop near the shop and have a coffee and then go. And then one day I got married. After a few days, she came. The next day morning, after I said, morning I get up a little early, so you don't have to get up. I'll go to the other room and sit and study. So, you can sleep. You don't have to. But she said, no. She felt, I have to take care of my husband. So, morning, she asked, what time, when do you do? I said, this is what I do. My routine I gave. I'm not going to tell you what is my routine. Okay. Routine. But one thing is for sure. First thing I do is study. After that, I'll have coffee. Okay. And 5:45, he brought the coffee and kept on the table, which would take me about half an hour or 45 minutes for me to have after studies. I just close the book, the coffee is there. Drink that coffee is such a joy, just to have a coffee. With sugar, without sugar, with sugar, doesn't matter. It's hot. Just to drink something hot, such a joy it is. You leave that cup. The cup has to go back. You don't register that. You see this in your office. Who finally does the job? is the one who doesn't have anybody else to pass the buck. Only he will do it. If I can pass that job to another person, I'll simply pass it on. And we all have that fantastic name for it called delegation. Everyone wants to delegate, delegate, delegate. Nobody wants to do things. You don't, jump into and say, what should I do? And start doing action without being told. That is called self-managed personality. You need that basic self-management for you to get inspired about, I need to be a developed individual. It's not just doing it, man. It is further development has to happen in me. Then comes inspiration for self-realization. So self-management to self-development to self-realization. In this, after you have crossed all this final plunge that you take for self-realization with the inspiration to realize the self is the discipline called meditation. The spiritual practice of meditation is done. It's the final part, not the first. But what we do, exactly opposite. Since all these principles have been flouted, he says, the world is in a chaotic state. Anarchy, he says. A tremendous anarchy in the world. What is an anarchy? The tragedy is there's no proper system, proper things are all there. There is chaos, confusion. We can understand. Imagine there is no, signal, and the signal is not working. Also to direct the traffic. Therefore, there is chaos on the road. We can understand that. There's no problem. There are 4 traffic constables standing there, and they are all directing the traffic. And then if there is chaos in the traffic, what do you call that? It's exactly, he says, the world has led itself to anarchy, to chaos. What is the chaos? Look around, he says. Chaotic one. What is the chaos, sir? No one takes to the spiritual disciplines that they are supposed to take with full force. You should give all that you have. Like Ramtita gives example, like a bee stinging. A bee stings. It dies in the process. Why is that? It gives its life into it. In that sting, it gives its life and dies. Do we take to spiritual courses with complete commitment? Is there that commitment we have? There's no commitment. Why there is no commitment? Because there is no connection to what the course that you take and your personality. It is totally disconnected. That's what he calls as paradharma. The paradharmic one, when you do, you will never have that inspiration to continue. If at all you take, this is a mistake, he says. So there has to be a proper system. The system is this, he says. The system is to go through. Our problem is, he says, sir, we are all, self-taught. I don't have, a guru. That's why traditionally we say, we never accept someone as a guru unless he has lived as a disciple. Only the one who had been a Sishya will be accepted as a guru. The one who has never been a Sishya will never be taken as a guru. That doesn't mean all Sishyas can become guru, not necessarily. Okay. This is true. Why? Because to stay as a disciple is one who says what? One who volunteers to be disciplined is called a disciple. Meaning of disciple is that the one who volunteers himself, submits himself to be disciplined by and the other. The one who you give is called a guru. So the one who takes that proper, this one. But here we say what? No. We are not going to be. I decide. Self-made man. Self-taught. I have taught myself. But what is interesting is this same stance you don't take with reference to any other field. The stance is taken, the self-taught concept is there only when it comes to religion. In no other field you take that. Imagine somebody comes and says, I am a self-taught doctor. Huh? We prosecute them, no? Isn't it? Holy doctor and push wrong. They catch you and prosecute you, stating you are a fake doctor. Why? He says, I'm a self-taught one. I have read all the books. In fact, I know more than what your so-called medical students know. But still, they say what? No. Why? There has to be an authority to which you have to submit yourself. What is authority to which you submit? You don't decide on your own everything. You need to take the assistance. Whose assistance you take? There is a system here. There is a tradition. There is an order. There is a process. Take into that. It's being properly regulated. There is a proper regulations are here, rules are here, and guide yourself to be monitored. Allow yourself to be monitored. This is a standard question I ask. If you want to live your life sensible, productive, peaceful, happy, prosperous, you have to answer only one question. To any decisions that you take, any action that you do in life, you have to ask this one question. If you can find an answer to this question, your life is made. Is there anyone you have in your life to whom you are answerable? You are accountable. Answerable in the sense, they pull you up, you have to give answer to them, convincing them. Answerable not in the sense like, what we give, in an interview, a person asks a question, you give an answer, that's it. Whether you take it or you leave it is your problem. I have answered it. I am answerable, sir. Yes, I am answerable. What is it? You send a memo, I give an answer to that. Higher officials. In life, as you grow, that most complicated part is hardly you will find anyone around you to whom you are actually accountable. Accountable means that it's like a child is answerable to the parents. The child has no choice. He cannot say, I didn't score, so what? You give one back to that fellow. Hey, you better study. Don't do that and get yourself arrested and call me. Okay. But he is answerable, no. When the school gives him a project, A university gives him a project. He is supposed to complete it on the time. You are answerable. When a government says you have to file your income tax return by this date, you have to file the returns, or else you are going to be penalized. If you don't link your, what is it, that PAN and Aadhaar, if it is not linked, it will get deactivated. This is the date. If you don't do it, you will lose. So you better get it done. That is called you are answerable. Just look into yourself. Ask yourself, to whom are you like that? Is there anyone you have in your life like that? Volunteering to be answerable to someone for something is called student, is called a seeker, is a disciple. The one who says, no, I will listen to you so long as you are telling things which are palatable to me. I've seen people, go and take appointments and go and meet Swamiji, come out. As they're coming out, ask them, meeting. He didn't understand what my problem is. And they go back. Why? Because you want a solution and you are not interested in this. You want him to vouch your decision correct. You want all that you want is what? That the choice that you have made, or the decision that you took, or what you are proposing to take, what you are planning to do, you want his signature. If he refuses to sign that, you drop that guru and go to another guru. That's all. It's as simple as that. That is why no master gets ever elated. When people say, wow, you are extraordinary, superb, that, nor he is going to be getting dejected when people denounce him, because both the cases, they don't understand what he is. The person who is praising don't know why he is praising, and the one who is denouncing don't know why he is denouncing. You praise for wrong reasons, you denounce for wrong reasons. You praise Christ for wrong reasons, you denounce Christ also for wrong reasons. It's fascinating to see. That's what he means by anarchy. He say, as anarchy, the world, very strong word. We are in part C, so he has to do that. He cannot be, no, polished things and all that. Look at the world, he says. Look at the world around. Why there is so much is because of this. So how you have to progress? First, self-manage. Whatever the self-managed is. Then self-developed, means self-purified. Self-purification. He has mentioned it earlier. He said actions are dynamic, emotions are pure, thinking is subtle. Subtilization of your thinking, purity of your emotions, dynamism at the action level. This is called pure mind. A self-purified personality seeks self-realization. So this is the progression. Now, having given this, next he is moving to two ideas. One, he gives what is positive religion. Now, there are two ways in which you can approach religion. One approach is positive, another approach is negative. There's a positive use. You can use religion positively, meaning you can use religion for the purpose for which it is supposed to be used. Negative abuse is you use it for every other purpose other than the main purpose. It's like using aeroplane for transportation with a bullock. You can, tie 5 bullocks and load everything. All your produce gets loaded into that and then pull it. This is one. There's another person who is slightly more developed. He says, no. That's an engine inside. We can use it to drive faster. This is a very powerful engine. We can drive faster. So what he's going to do? Remove the bullocks, drives the aeroplane. But all his life he has been driving it on the ground only. He's using it like a car. Very powerful, sir. This is the engine power. This 50,000 horsepower. I don't know whatever the engine power is. I have no idea. What is the engine power of aeroplanes? Just say 5,000 horsepower. It is 5,000 horsepower. That's the power of the engine, man. Let's use it for that purpose. Another person. The third person comes and says, yes, there is an engine there, but this is not supposed to be for the ground man. It is supposed to be flying. And he takes off and flies in the skies. Now you tell me, who is using it positively, who is using it negatively? That is what he is giving here now. There are two sets of people. One group of them take to these things. Positive usage of religion and the negative use of religion. Positive usage means positive use of the spiritual courses. What are the spiritual courses? Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. There are 3 yogas. Karma, Bhakti, Jnana. There's 3 yogas. You practice for the purpose that is supposed to be practiced. You do it for what it is supposed to be used. Negative religion is opposite of it. You use it for all that purpose which is not meant for. Put it simply, you go to a temple for what? To have the darshan of the Lord. To have the darshan, for the darshan you go to the temple. Incidentally, you can come out and buy prasadam and eat. Puliyogare. Puliyogare is super puliyogare you get there. You go to Srirangam, you come outside. There is a place there. It's one of the best one you get there. You buy that puliyogare and vada. Have that and come. That's okay. Not that you should not buy that and eat and all anything. You can buy. Other one is, why did you go to the temple? For that puliyogare, I went to temple. That's called negative religion. So one is you go to the temple for darshan. Incidentally, you have puliyogare. Incidentally, you can have laddu. Correct. But you can't be going to the temple for the purpose of laddu. And the tragedy is, people today go to temple for laddu. And they are so worried. The laddu size has shrunk. Wow. No investigation. I said, tremendous investigation, man, you are. I said, what observation, Fantastic observation. Sir, Munatlam Tirupati laddu will not be bigger. Now the size has shrunk, The price has increased. I said, you Buddhu, you registered that with Tirupati laddu. Did you register that with Maggi packet? Yeah. Huh? I don't know how many of you people registered. Maggi packet, now what you get for 10 rupees is only 70 grams, not 100 grams. When they introduced it was 100 grams. Do you know that? You don't know. You don't register. That's what the point is. See, where you are supposed to register, what you are supposed to register, you don't register. And the fellow comes and tells me, sir, Laddu shrinker. I said, Maggie shrunk, therefore Laddu also shrunk. And he was asking me surprisingly, Apriya. Every day you are having Maggie. This you don't see. Once a year you go to Tirupati and buy Laddu, that has shrunk your register. I said, your buddhi and your observatory powers, I said. Fascinating to see people. He says there are two types of approaches you can have towards religion. One is positive, another one is negative religion. Right. This positive, negative, positive religion we'll see in the next class. Right. So we can see that in the next. Too much. Right. So I'll see you next class.